Welcome to a new episode of my Linux driver tutorials. In today's video I want to show you how we can use GPIO interrupts in a platform device driver. And therefore you can see I have connected a button to a GPIO of my Raspberry Pi, GPIO 20 to be more precise, and I want to write the driver which will trigger an interrupt every time I push the button. And the ability to receive interrupts or to handle interrupts is something you can only do in Kernelspace. So in userspace, okay, you can do some polling things, but directly access to the interrupts you can only get through a driver. So yeah, let's take a look how we can implement this driver. I'm here connected to my Raspberry Pi over SSH, and I will navigate into my Linux driver tutorials folder. And as a template for today's video, I will use lesson 16 DT device tree device driver. So let me copy this folder and let's create a new one. I will call DT GPIO ERQ. Yep. And let's navigate into this folder and let's see what's in here. So my dev-driver.c is the source file for our device driver. My overlay.dts is the device tree overlay which we're using to add our device tree device to our current device tree. The makefile will build both the driver and the device tree overlay, and this README will tell you a little bit more about this tutorial when you're viewing this on GitHub or on codeberg.org. Okay, so the first thing we will do is we will change the device tree overlay and add our interrupt. So yeah, here you can see a very simple device tree overlay. Here we are adding the device my device to the root path of our device tree with status equals okay, we're enabling the device, and these are two properties we're passing to the device. But I will delete these properties and instead I will add a new one which I will call interrupt extended. So if you want to add an interrupt to a Linux device tree device, you could also use the interrupt parent and interrupt property, but we will go with this interrupt extended version here. So the only thing here we have to do is we have to tell it from which interrupt controller or to which interrupt controller this interrupt should be triggered, and here this is our GPIO device which handles our GPIO pins. The next argument here is the number of the GPIO pin which should trigger the interrupt. In this case, this is the GPIO pin number 20. And the last one is a flag, how the interrupts or on which events the interrupt should be triggered. And I will add a 2 here. The 2 stands for on the rising edge an interrupt will be triggered. Okay, so this is all the change I have to do here in the device tree overlay. That should be it. Now let's try to implement the driver. Okay, so here we have our minimal platform driver, and the first thing I will do is I will add a new include file which I will call, or which is called linux/interrupt.h. We need this for handling of the interrupts. So what I have to do now is I have to implement an interrupt service routine. This is a callback function which will be called when the interrupt has been triggered. And normally an interrupt service routine has the return value IRQ return T. Then we can give it a name, for example my dev ISR. And this callback function must have 2 arguments. The first argument is the number of the interrupt which was triggered. And the second argument is an optional data pointer. Okay. And I will use this data pointer to pass a pointer to our platform device from which the interrupt is triggered to this function, and I can use this then for doing some printing. So here, let's cast this void data pointer to struct platform device pointer, and then I will use def info pdef def ERQ was triggered, and here I'm printing out the IRQ number, and then I will return IRQ handled, and we have to return this value to indicate the IRQ was handled successfully without any errors. Okay, and keep in mind when you're implementing your own interrupt service routines that this section here should be as small as possible, and you should not do, or you can only do atomic stuff in here. So for example, doing an allocation in an interrupt context is a very bad idea, and I think it will even not work here in the Linux kernel. So it's important to leave an interrupt service routine as quick as possible and to don't do anything blocking here. Okay, so we have implemented our interrupt service routine. Now we have to get our interrupt and request the interrupt. And this will be done here in the probe function. So let me add two new variables. One is a status variable, the second one is an interrupt status. And let's also get our current device from the platform device struct here. And here, instead of PR info, let's use def info. And down here as well. Okay, good. So the first thing we have to do is we have to get the interrupt number from our device tree overlay. And therefore we can use the function platform get interrupt. We have to pass it a pointer to our platform device, and we have to specify the number of the interrupt. 0 is for the first interrupt mentioned in our device tree overlay or in our device entry. Because I can have more than just one interrupts for one device. This is of course possible. Now let's check if we got a valid number. In case we did, the value here should be bigger or equal to 0. And if in case the number is smaller than 0, we have an error. mydef error platform or error reading interrupt property, and let's return the error code here. Okay, but in case this worked, I can print out some information here. RQ number. So let's print out the RQ number here. Okay, so now we have the system-wide IRQ number for this device, and now we have to request the interrupt and also tell it which interrupt service routine it should use. And therefore we can use the function defm request interrupt. This function here is managed. That's what this M here stands for, and this means we don't have to free the interrupt manually, because this interrupt here is bound to the lifetime of this platform device here, and when the platform device disappears, the interrupt will be freed automatically. Okay, so the first argument here is the device for which we are requesting the interrupt, and this is this generic device pointer which we got here from the platform device. The next argument is the interrupt number for which we want to allocate an interrupt. The next argument is the interrupt service routine which should be executed when this interrupt gets triggered. Then we can pass some optional flags, which I will set to 0. Then we can give it a name, which will appear in proc interrupts. And the last argument is a data pointer, and this will be passed here as the data to our interrupt service routine, and here I will use pdef. Okay, and in case status was bigger than 0, we have an error. Yep, this should be error, not info. Error. And here let's return the status. Error requesting interrupt. Okay. And that should be it. So here we are getting the interrupt property from the device tree overlay. Down here we are requesting the interrupt, we are linking it to this interrupt service routine. Yep, this is looking good. Let's try to compile it and run the example. So with running make, I will compile the device tree overlay and the driver. Yep, to avoid this warning here, I have to declare this function as static, then this warning will also disappear. And we can also see, okay, we successfully compiled our device tree overlay. So now let's apply the device tree overlay and load the driver. So in here, I will just follow the kernels log, and here let's load the device tree overlay. Okay, the device tree overlay is loaded. Now let's load the driver. Okay, ERQ index 0 not found. Okay, so it seems we have a problem in our device tree overlay, so let's take a look at it. Interrupt extended. Interrupt extended. It should be interrupts extended, that's the problem. Okay, so let's build it again. Let's remove the device tree overlay. And let's reapply it. And now it worked. We have successfully requested interrupt number 16. And if I search for 16 in the file proc interrupts, yep, you can see also in here we can see our interrupt in this file. And now let me switch on the camera again. So now if I'm pressing the button, you can see here the interrupt service routine is triggered. You may wonder why it's triggered so often. I think the reason for this is because I haven't debounced this button at all. And yeah, therefore, when I'm pressing it, it gets multiple edges, and this leads to the interrupt service routine being triggered multiple times. If I would give it a more clean edge, it should work better, and or we should only see this function here once. Okay, and now if I unload the driver again, so here you can see this interrupt is no longer present. Yep, okay, cool. So that's how to use GPIO interrupts in a Linux platform device driver. I hope you've enjoyed the video and learned something. In case you want to support my work, you can buy me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/linux4linux. So thanks for watching and goodbye.